Minasan, konnichiwa. Okay, as you guys can see from the title, this is my reaction to the reactions to the Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match from New Japan Best Super Juniors tournament for this year, 2016. It's already been called a match of the year candidate. It's about two of the best high flyers in pro wrestling, in Ospreay and Ricochet, and they're tearing it up in the tournament. The problem that fans, I'm using that with air quotes, are having is they do a lot of Ricochet. If you guys can hear his name, Ricochet, obviously that's a guy who does a lot of flips and whatnot. And Ospreay is right there with him. They're two high flyers. People are saying that those kind of guys are ruining pro wrestling. What? Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I don't always want to see a high-flying match. I don't want to see that every single match. You don't. You want to see guys who are like Kurt Angle, who are the grapplers. When Eddie Groves wrestling, the grapplers, the guys who can go down to the mat and do the amazing holds, the twists. You want to see power guys like Brock Lesnar, Cesaro. You got guys like even Kevin Steen's pretty strong for his side. You get the power guys. You got the I guess technical is still submission matches. I almost had submission matches, but those same as technical. But you have different styles of pro wrestling. You have the brawlers. Mick Foley was one. Kevin Steen's definitely one. Dean Ambrose. And you got guys like Ricochet and Ospreay who can do technical and high flying. It's just that they're known for high flying, so that's what they're gonna do. I mean, Kurt Angle can be a high flyer when he wants to be, but at the same time, he doesn't do it every single match because he doesn't have to. Because his moonsaults are pretty brilliant. Those are some pretty great moonsaults Kurt Angle has, but he doesn't pull them out because he doesn't need to. I strongly suggest if you can find footage of the Ospreay Ricochet match, you go find it and go watch it, because those are some great match. That's a great match. You can find even clips of it. You can find the whole match. Go for it. It's a great match. Go check it out. But here's my point. My point is the problem with wrestling fans. Here's how spoiled we've become. If the match isn't wrestled exactly how we want it, we can't appreciate it. It's a fact. And I want you guys to let that sink in. If you're going to watch a match with Ricochet and Will Ospreay in it, and you're going to complain there's too much flipping, what in the world did you expect was going to happen when you watched the match? If it had said Jay Lethal versus Roderick Strong, and all they did were dives outside the ring and a whole lot of shooting star presses, yeah, that would confuse me. But to me, that wouldn't make any less of a good match, because I would probably love seeing a Roderick Strong shooting star press. I know he doesn't do them, but it'd be an interesting image to see in my head. Anyway, but my point is that's what they do. And a lot of people brought up this really good points. Are we really hating on two junior heavyweights for doing flips when one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Jushin Thunder Liger, who I've had the honor of meeting and watching wrestle from the front row in San Antonio, highlight of my life, by the way, who pioneered this kind of thing? I mean, look at his series with Hayabusa. Look at it, and there's even a clip of a match of him with Ultimo Dragon. Look at probably the number of matches they probably had. These guys invented high-flying wrestling in their own way, or at least modernized it, if anything. Look at Great Muta and Sting. They weren't the highest of flyers, they weren't doing everything, but they had their mark of flying around the ring. Muta invented the moonsault, more or less. Well, that's been. I think it was one of the Guerreros actually invented the moonsault. Never mind, I need to take that back. Anyway, neither here nor there. Look bring up the Guerreros too. They're known for flying around too. Chavo Guerrero still wrestles great. I mean, he's not old, but he's not spring chicken anymore. But he still wrestles great. You watch him in Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground. What? Okay, the more I'm talking, the more ideas of this I'm getting. I'm trying not to make this to an angry black guy rant, because I was trying to just keep the title of my reaction to the reactions of this, but it's like I don't get wrestling fans sometimes, man. If you want a technical match, if you want to see a straight technical wrestling match, that is absolutely okay, and I am not mad at you. I love a good technical wrestling match. Some of my favorites are, you know, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. As hard as it is for me to still watch a Chris Benoit match, it's still hard for me to watch those, by the way. I actually haven't watched one recently in a long time because I can't do it mentally and emotionally. I can't put myself through it too much. But, you know, guys like, if you watch matches like with CM Punk and his ROH days, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whichever name you want to call him by, Kurt Angle, Jay Lethal, Roderick Strong, Eddie Guerrero, even guys who, you know, aren't typically technical but can be, like Homicide, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Shinsuke Nakamura, guys like that. You want technical matches, great. You want power matches, you know, with Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, whether you like him or not, that's a power wrestler. Cesaro, guys like that. You want the power matches, that is okay. Go watch them. You want your high-flying matches, that is okay. Go watch them. If you want to see, if your favorite, and that's the thing. If your favorite wrestlers, I don't care if your favorite wrestlers all the way from Jay Lethal all the way to Jeff Hardy. I don't care if your favorite wrestlers, one of the Bella Twins, all the way to Mia Yim and Jessica Havoc. You're a wrestling fan. You have the right to watch and like what you want to watch and like. My only thing is when wrestling fans accuse other wrestling fans of liking a certain type of match. Certain type of wrestlers, that's debatable, and we can actually get into that for a good while. Like I know I mentioned the Bella Twins, but trust me, if you like the Bella Twins, hey, do you? It's all good. But it's, I guess my biggest problem is when people say the flippy wrestlers are ruining pro wrestling. Kind of hard to ruin something that is still like a $1 million plus industry. When you have like all these companies that are literally fighting each other to stay on top of #1 worldwide. I mean, I think WWE and New Japan are still the top, are the top 2 companies in the world right now, and they still fight it out for it every single year. And who wins when they do that? The fans do. And I think, to WWE's credit, along with New Japan, they're both giving you a variety of different things, and WWE is definitely stepping up their game in that aspect. But they're doing a lot of things to keep it up. And again, there are other companies who do that too. Ring of Honor is a great one. TNA is actually coming back, from what I hear. I haven't been able to catch up on, but from the little bit I do see of TNA, it's not as bad as it once was. Wrestling wise, I'll put it that way. So, I guess my point is that Ricochet and Will Ospreay will not ruin pro wrestling. High flyers will not ruin pro wrestling because, unlike other sports, there's never mind. Let me take that back. Just like other sports, there's more than one way to do it. In basketball, you can rely on one person to make all your shots, or you can rely on a whole team of things to do it. There are schools that say both work. In football, same thing. Various sports, you can look at various ways to play the game or strategize the game. Pro wrestling is the same way. There are several different ways to wrestle a match. When you're Will Ospreay and Ricochet, you flip like crazy. And they're just, and to me, they're forging their own path, but honoring the past of guys like Liger and Dragon and Hayabusa and all the other high flyers, Mysterio, pretty much any lucha wrestler throughout history, Mel Mascaras, all of those guys. They're honoring the past and creating their own present and forging for the future. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's pro wrestling. Take it for what it is and love it. I know I do. As evidenced by the videos. And just who I love to watch. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. What are your thoughts? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll be setting up soon for you guys to, if you want to be generous and donate to my channel, that would be awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for watching. Minasan, sayonara. Peace.